case study number 2 of this channel on products. There's going to be so many more as things keep happening here. But keep in mind that we don't just do physical products at Caversity. We also do digital or info products. Why? Because the principles are the same. If you're an entrepreneur, whether you're running a service-based funnel or a product-based funnel, meaning you sell products, whether you're private label or drop shipper, the fact of the matter is, if the top of your funnel is positioned at a product, it's going to lead to better results, okay? The reason being is because of market competition for services, high cost to acquire leads for services directly out of the gate. You want to nurture an audience with something that they can touch, see, hear, smell, feel to some degree, whether digital or physical, in order to get them into your audience, right? So I'm going to go ahead and subtract my little face here, flip myself around. We're in, Opus once again, or OBS, whatever, some sort of recording software. I'm not well versed in this stuff, but either way. So this is about my client, Hagen, who ironically is also my partner and fitness coach. We entered a gentleman's agreement where he coaches me. I help him with his ads. Things have been great. And basically, Hagen has been operating his company, Fitness Resilience, off of a fitness coaching offer, which is high ticket. And keep in mind that his fitness coaching offer, he did everything traditionally that other coaches did, which is contract a marketing agency to try and run video-based like real ads to try and figure out if he can just drive business straight to his booking calendar. And what I want you guys to see is what his results were like before he worked with us at Caversity and what they've been like so far after. Okay, so before he worked with us, he contracted a marketing agency, which I'm not going to say their name for respect of that, right? But he worked with a traditional marketing agency, or typical like growth agents, Instagram meta marketing agency that you see ads for all the time on Instagram. And the unfortunate thing is they did not understand how to actually drive him results at cost. As you can see at the top, he received only 2 bookings on his calendar with only 31,000 impressions at a booking rate of $850 per booking, spending $1,700 on ads with this marketing agency. I don't think you guys should be a stranger to the fact that like he gave up on that marketing agency. He quit with them. He immediately left. He came to me. He's like, Nick, what do I do? We've had conversations in the past about leveraging an info product or a product to somehow advertise my services. And I'm like, you've come to the right guy. Now, keep in mind, I don't run a marketing agency and I will never sell marketing services. I just happen to provide like info product and e-com product ads as a piece of what I can provide as a service that we do well with, right? So this is just a case study of one of the many things that we're capable of doing. But after he worked with us, you see there were 2 ad structures that were launched. The first was using an ebook, a 26-page custom info product ebook that we built for him, which has an exercise plan, nutrition plan. It's got ingredient list, mindset modules, all that stuff in 26 pages of a PDF with 2 calls to action, one in the middle, one at the end. Okay. And so when we build an info product, keep in mind, we build it to be extraordinarily high quality, something that puts him against and above the rest of fitness coaches who typically only offer something like an evergreen webinar or maybe like a 1-pager PDF that doesn't have nearly the amount of information that we supply through our info product. So in this first ad set at the top for this ebook, you can see that there were 2 direct purchases of his ebook with a cost of $220 per purchase, which is high. However, he has only spent $400 on this campaign and driving 220,000 impressions at a closing cost of $4,500, sometimes $7,500, depending on how long he retains that customer. So one of the things you guys got to keep in mind is when you're running ads, there's the ROAS, or the return on ad spend of your dashboard itself. Okay, like whoa, we drove like really good like direct purchase ROAS on the dashboard. That stuff is rare. And the thing is a lot of your marketing gurus will tell you drive good ROAS on your ad dashboard. But the reality is if you have a high ticket service, that's not going to happen because you're focusing all of your energy and resources and infrastructure on your high ticket offer. So we can't just create like a fake funnel and a fake offer because that just won't convert. That won't work. There will be too many flaws and kinks. So we've driven these clients straight to an auto booking sequence from their purchase of the ebook. Now they're highly nurtured. And when they get on that call, they'll lead to that close. So on one $4,500 close, where Hagen spent a total of $500 to us, that's with us, that's a 9 to 10x ROAS on the back end of his infrastructure, not in the ad dashboard. So you guys got to keep this in mind, is that your ROAS should not be driven just directly through your ad dashboard. It should be driven through your main sales pipeline behind the scenes, what's not shown behind the scenes. Ads should just be used as a traffic source to get highly engaged people invested in your products or services, right? So on top of that, we ran DM ads, very basic with creative that he actually developed. And there were 9 messaging conversations generated at only $75, which is $8 per inbound DM. So you got 11 touch points, which is 5x the amount of touch points that he got with this marketing agency. We did it in a quarter of the time, so in half a month as opposed to 2 months. He's got that 720% impression visibility boost with only 26% of his total budget spend that he had prior with the marketing agency. And guess what? Using an info product, able to drive upwards of 10x ROAS on the basis of his high ticket sales calls, right? So how do you guys get results like this for yourself? Well, I'm literally going to give you the framework, okay? And like, I could charge you guys thousands of dollars for this framework, but this is a case study. Therefore, you should understand not just the client result, but how the client result was ascertained. And there's a lot that goes behind this structure, but I'm giving you guys sauce that not a lot of people are willing to give for free. So first, you want to start with 3 ad groups in your meta ad dashboard, okay? In your first ad group, what you're doing is you're varying your creative. In your second ad group, you're varying your headline. And in your third ad group, you're varying your primary text, okay? And these are the 3 variables that lead to most interest in an ad. Almost 100% of the ad is driven through interest in these 3 categories, with creatives being about 82% of interest. So creatives matter the most. However, you want to optimize. So what you do is you create one ad group for each confounding variable and you fix the others. So if I'm testing creative, I fix headline and primary text. If I'm testing headline, I fix creative and primary text. If I'm testing primary text, I fix creative and headline, right? And then what I'm able to do is duplicate those ad groups, which gives me a higher statistical significance interval, right? So I'm getting better results. And what you do is you look at 2 numbers. You look at your reach once these ads are done running, and you look at your clicks. And what you do is you fix each of these at a budget of $5, $3 to $5, okay, over the course of 24 hours. And you use a stop rule to make sure the spend doesn't exceed that amount. And you use another stop rule when you exceed 200 impressions, but don't receive a single click on an ad. So you can pause that, go back to what I just said, and implement that and learn how to implement that, okay? But keep in mind, if you work with Cadversity, we can just do this for you and actually walk you through the step-by-step of your products, your ads for your business, whether you sell services or products at high ticket, right? So either way, what we're going to do is we're going to find which has the highest click-through rate, or CTR, which is simply just clicks divided by total reach, okay? Which is the highest CTR creative? What's the highest CTR headline? And what's the highest CTR primary text? We take those 3 elements and combine them into our one evergreen ad. And now what we're going to do is test our audience, because now we know what ad is going to work with a broad audience. Now we test the audience that works best with that broad ad, okay? So there's 3 groups of audiences we test for variety that leads us to understand the most insight upfront with the budget. And you can start at $10 to $15 per day per ad group for audience testing. And the first ad group, what we're doing is now our campaign objective, as opposed to traffic for click-through rate, is now leads. And we're looking at number of purchases and ROAS, or return on ad spend. So if you've got a $10 product and you pay $10 for a lead to buy it, you have a ROAS, or return on ad spend, of 1, because the cost divided by the revenue, or the revenue divided by the cost, is 1, right? So if you got a $20 product and it costs you $10 to acquire a lead, you acquire 2, okay, you got a 2x ROAS, okay? So in ad group 1, you're testing a direct and broad audience. For the example of Hagen, we tested fitness and nutrition as keywords, okay? Very direct, very broad, okay? And what we do is we take our first place CTR asset from above and our second place creative with the top headline and top primary text, just to test it as well, because we just want to double check. This is a method of us double checking with different audiences that are not broad, because we might get better results going like and circumventing to the second place asset. Sometimes the second place asset does best with one of the audiences and we cut the rest, right? So ad group number 2 is where we go tangential and narrow with our audience. So for example, who is into fitness and can pay money? Probably people who are unfit and have the money to want to invest into a coach if they trust that coach. Well, who would that be? Like lawyers, doctors, insurance agents, like people that are very sedentary at work, or tend to just not get enough exercise in because they're super busy in general, that probably have a decent level of income, right? So we targeted golf actually for this tangential narrow audience because people who play golf, likely they are interested in fitness. They could get their fitness up, and typically you got a lot of overweight, middle to late aged retirement folks with a lot of money that play golf and are interested in it. So we tested that as a tangential and narrow audience. You do your market research. And then lastly, the third audience or third ad group is going to be a lookalike or retargeting audience. Basically, last 180 days of IG likes and comments, last 180 days of IG followers, and last 365 days of IG profile visits aggregated at a 1 to 2% lookalike audience, pumped into that audience in full in ad group 3, which should give you at least a few thousand impressions per day at $10 to $15 if you've got at least a few hundred to a few thousand followers on Instagram who are engaged in your content. So then what we do is we let the data and the numbers speak. Every 3 days, we look only at the number of sales. If the total number of sales is nothing, we delete that ad group. If the total number of sales is at least 1 or more, we keep. And this is every 3 days, okay? And then every 7 days, this is where we might duplicate and scale at cost to the spend of the ads. Because the biggest problem we see is that with marketing agencies, you spend more than you can afford. That wouldn't be the case if you spend proportional to your return on ad spend and tested things early and failing ads early, right? Just simple principles, but not really implemented in the industry, unfortunately. So every 7 days, what we're going to do is if the return on ad spend is less than 1.5, we're going to delete that ad group. If it's between 1.5 and 1.9999, right, 2.0 basically, we keep, we don't touch it. And if it's greater than 2.0 for return on ad spend, okay, then we dupe or duplicate that ad. So we literally just copy, duplicate, and you don't double the budget, you just duplicate because it helps with positioning. There's a lot of algorithmic constraints behind that. But this is the structure we used only on like the top line here in the after result to drive a much better per purchase conversion price to his high ticket booking calendar, where he could get those 9 to 10x plus security ROAS on the basis of his info product. So if you guys are interested at all in, if this case study was helpful, first of all, and you're interested at all in working with us at Cadversity to develop an info product, we're cheaper than literally anybody and we'll price match the competition. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification below for more case studies like this that you can implement for free in your business. I'm going to continue to put these out and kind of hopefully like outpace the people that gatekeep information and make you pay thousands of dollars. Reach out with any questions in the comments below, and I will see you on some other side of something.